Ready? Niggas, what? The devil is in the details. What details? The FBI covering up military crimes so the FBI can blackmail military members for counterintelligence on every other unit that crosses their path means people who witness those crimes can also blackmail the FBI and the military to help them cover up their crimes. But more importantly, as a terrorist organization, ISIS, Taliban, Al Qaeda, a cartel, I can now blackmail the FBI on counterintelligence needed to ambush all military units that FBI has collected information on in the entirety of their career, making the FBI one of the largest liabilities the U.S. military has when it comes to national security issues and leaks of information.
This man built a system to store 100 cubic meters of water for free and forever, completely legally. A huge tank is reinforced with steel walls, a 15-centimeter layer of sand at the base, and a PVC liner inside to hold the water. For example, with a 200-square-meter roof, just 2.5 centimeters of rainfall is enough to collect about 3,800 liters of water. The ideal choice is a metal roof to avoid chemical contamination. The water flows down the gutters, passes through a U-shaped pipe system, and naturally reaches the tank, as long as the tank is placed lower than the gutter, with no pumps or elevated structures needed. Before entering the tank, the water goes through a filter bag, and then through a larger filtration system, providing enough clean water for the whole.
If he met her when he 18 and she was 11, you would think that they filed a police report at the moment they took her phone. They had all the evidence they needed at that moment. So how did it get to the point of her knowing him for 3 years? 3 years before he quote unquote murdered her. 3 years. Because if your 11-year-old was talking to a boy and doing explicit things with him, you're going to try to figure out everything about that person, especially whether or not that person goes to their school or not. And if you find out he's grown, then more than likely you will file a police report at that moment. They never took it upon themselves to figure out who he was, how he looked, and how old he was. Or did they know that? That's why they took her phone. And then they say he got a phone delivered to her at school. If she's 11, that means she's possibly in 6th grade. The only thing that don't make sense to me is the part where the parents aren't taking it serious.
Did you know food pantries give out real food, not the processed canned crap that you guys often hear about? Does this look processed? Does this look canned? My point exactly. Please go utilize your local resources, like, share, and repost so we can continue to end the stigma, okay? Food pantries are for you. Who doesn't like free groceries? Yeah, go run to your local pantry.
Washing up at the McDonald's. Part of being the homeless life. Thank God for the sink. You know what I mean? But gotta keep pushing. It's all good. Look like a hot mess.
Prime example, this is how somebody will try to manipulate you or make you seem like you dumb. You'll ask a simple question. Prime example, once again. Yeah, did you go outside today? Outside, they're going to repeat the question. Yeah, outside, did you go out today? What are you talking about? Now they're confused. They want you to, reiterate it. Yeah, did you go outside? I don't know. Now they're acting confused.
That's a good twist. Wait a minute. Oh, Lord. Why would you tell me that? You shouldn't do it with your hand. And you're twisting to the left. But you want to twist to the right. Because your wire nuts, when you tighten it, it goes to the right. When you loosen it, it goes to the left. You never want to twist to your left. You left-handed? So, let me show you this. Watch this. Watch how I do it. Just twist it just like this, and it's done. Where's your pigtail? I'll show you this. Let me show you how to do the black one.
Yeah, he showed me right there.
We're going to put all these together right here. What you can do, you can start it out like that so it can hold each other. and just twist it. See how it's like there, and just twist. Twist. Do this. Twist it and then put a wire nut.
I'm gonna take a lot of strong flies on it.
All right.
I've had a couple questions about what the difference is between arteries and veins. I chose this picture because it kind of gives you an overview of the differences. Arteries carry oxygenated blood and they carry it away from the heart. An artery has really thick walls because they have to be very muscular and contract to get the blood moving all over the place to deliver their oxygen. When arteries branch into smaller structures, they become arterioles. And then these arterioles branch into even tinier structures and become capillaries. When they enter the capillary bed, they're tiny and they have oxygen. They give all of that away your tissues in the capillary state. So capillaries are so tiny that red blood cells have to line up single file to get through them to give away all of their oxygen. They're in very close contact with the tissue, so they're very effective at this. As they give away all of their oxygen and become venules, they take up carbon dioxide from your tissue. So they become venules as they leave this capillary bed when they have carbon dioxide instead of oxygen. Veins are a little bit bigger version of a venule, and a vein actually has a valve. And so it's going to be important, like if you're in a career where you're learning how to draw blood and stuff, you have to make sure that you don't hit a valve when you're taking blood. But veins carry deoxygenated blood. That also means that it is high in carbon dioxide. And so it comes back into the heart through your superior and your inferior vena cava. And it also goes to your lungs and exchanges that carbon dioxide with the alveoli. So oxygen comes in as you breathe in. The alveoli exchange that oxygen with the carbon dioxide that the veins bring it, and you breathe that carbon dioxide out. So your heart is actually a double pump. So deoxygenated blood comes in your right atrium, goes down to your right ventricle. It's pumped out, goes to the lungs, and picks up oxygen, and comes back in through the left atrium. Sorry about that. Goes down to the left ventricle. It pumps out through the aorta and goes all over the body, delivering its oxygen through the capillary beds, comes back in as...
So you want to be an SPD tech, and a lot of you are asking me how you can become an SPD tech. So I'm going to show you how. Okay, so first you're going to go on Indeed, okay, Indeed.com, and you're going to look in the search bar, sterile processing assistant, okay, or non-certified sterile processing tech. That's the first thing that you're going to do. Then you're going to head over to your local hospital websites. You're going to search the same thing, non-certified sterile processing tech or sterile processing tech assistant, okay? Once you see that they have a program that does not require you to have certification, then you know that that is a paid training program. So you're going to apply. After you do that, if that doesn't work, if Indeed isn't coming through, if the hospital websites isn't coming through, then you know that you need to self-study. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your books, Sterile Processing HSPA, the 9th edition book, okay? You're going to head over to Amazon, or you're going to head over to myhspa.org, okay? After you head over there, you get your book. You can get you want to get the manual, okay? The manual is the main book that you need. Then if you want to get the workbook comes with practice tests and things like that, where it will help you study better and to achieve your certification better, okay? So after you do those things, once you study, you're going to head back over to myhspa.org, and you're going to sign up under CRCST to take your exam. Your exam is going to be $140. After you schedule your exam, you have 3 months to take your test, okay? After you take your test and you are certified, you have 6 months to the date to Find a hospital that is willing to train you to get your 400 hours, okay? Like, comment, and share. Let me show you what a day in electrical trade school really looks like. Today, we were working on our electrical textbook, and a lot of people think that trade school is just like physical labor and that's all you do, but there's a lot to learn, especially for electrical. There's so many tiny things, so you have to lock in and read it and learn it and understand it. Today we were really focusing on service entrance conductors and service work in general. What was really interesting to me is that in New Jersey, it wasn't like a part of code until 2020, very recently, that houses needed to have a meter disconnect. I went to go look at my house and I was like, yeah, we don't have a meter disconnect. That's crazy. My teacher said it only became a thing because so many firemen were getting electrocuted when there was a fire and they had to turn off the meter or cut the wires. It was just very intense, so that's why there's now a meter disconnect. New Jersey is very behind. You know, we're still on the 2020 NEC with no plans to get to 2023, so that sucks. When it comes to bookwork, I really love it. A lot of people have asked me, like, is it hard? Is there a lot of math? There is math, but it's mostly for like the calculations and stuff, not just for like general things. Like when I'm wiring an outlet, I'm not thinking of like math problems, but if I'm like bending conduit, I am. A lot of the math comes from calculating like the loads for the entire dwelling that you have to do, because that's how you pick the wires, you know, the certain wire size, what ampacity can handle, derating it. There's a lot of factors that come into it where you do need to use math. But overall, it's not hard to me at all. I honestly love bookwork. I thrive in it. Like I am so locked in. I got my headphones on. I highlight everything in that book, outline, make little notes. I have a bunch of bookmarks. I think I'm the only one who actually enjoys it, to be honest. But I really love this textbook specifically too, because it does reference the code book many times, like a lot, and it'll give you the exact code number, but it also explains it and it gives examples. Like in this book, we have a whole made up example plan for a house, for like the living room, the basement, the kitchen, and it tells you all the little details that you'll need to know if you're wiring said places. But yeah, today we just really spent the entire day working on this chapter. It's a very long chapter because it's very in-depth, but I just wanted to show that trade school is not always just physical stuff, and you know, just in general, the trades, I feel like it's not just physical. There's a lot of mental, there's a lot of thinking that you have to do. So as long as you study and you work and you practice, you'll definitely get better and better each day. And that was the end of my day.
Since these two are green, we've made sure that we're connected. I went ahead and entered all my information for device information. Now we're gonna do the testing. The tests that the customer usually wants are we want to calibrate it, do the partial stroke test, and then the emergency trip test. I'm gonna go to calibration, then this is gonna open up. I just did the partial stroke test. Now the last one would be the emergency one. Now that all three tests are done, we're gonna go ahead and upload.
I can't believe I'm the person to figure out free energy. As you can see, it's pre-dawn. There isn't really any solar energy out here for me to get these panels going, but I have an idea. I really hope the oil and gas industry doesn't come at me for this. So this is a 150 watt LED panel. These are 100 watt solar panels, but there's two of them. So if this produces 150 watts, that would get 100, that would get 100. I'm feeding it inside through this window over to my battery right here. This is where it plugs in. So I'm gonna power that light off of one of these front panels right here. And as you can see, I have all sorts of different electronics and like I tinker a lot, so I definitely know what I'm talking about here. But I need an extension cord. We'll go with this green one, since this is as green as energy can get. Like we're talking a net positive feedback loop here, free energy. Now I have to be pretty quiet during all this. It's still really early in the morning and I don't want to wake everybody up, and I don't want to let big gas and oil hear about this. It just hit me when I was taking my organic shower this morning. Free energy, 150 watts, 200 watt panels. That's gonna come out to 200 watts. All right, so we have our green organically sourced extension cord here. I'm gonna plug it into the AC of this. Let's see what our power's at right now, 57%. We're gonna turn the AC on. And then outside, let me see if I can do this with one hand. Probably not the smartest thing to do. Hold on. Yeah, this is a good angle. All right. So yeah, that definitely works. All right, so we have our organic extension cord right here going to this wire. This wire is going to this light right here. And boom, free solar energy even when it's still nighttime. Well, early morning. I wanted to beat the sunrise so I could prove that this works. All right, so that's the setup. That's 150 watts, so that can produce more energy than either of these panels can take. So this is getting a full 100 watts, that's getting a full 100 watts. I mean, trust me, bro. Oh, whoa, and that light is so efficient since it's LED, it's only pulling 131 watts rather than 150. That's even better. And right there, that definitely means that this is gonna be fully charged in 2 hours. I'm gonna verify this with Google. Is this legit? I mean, right up there it shows 200 watts input. See? 129 output, 200 watts input. All right, let's see what Google has to say. Yes, it is legit. I just want to be really, really sure. So let me take this picture. One more confirmation real quick. Since that efficient LED light is 150 watts, but each of those solar panels is 100 watts, does that mean those solar panels can produce 200 watts with the light shining on them? Confirmed, this checks out. If you don't hear from me again, just this is my contribution to humanity. You're welcome.